Get stressed just looking at this Chinese lock because it doesn't have a keyhole at all. Use it on your door or your vehicle, and you can forget the fear of theft. It's built from solid steel, so breaking or cutting it is nearly impossible. And the best part, it opens only with its special key. Just place the key on top, give it a light pull, and it unlocks in seconds. Simple, secure, and super convenient.
Have you ever seen this traditional way of making cooking oil? With just a gentle press, golden oil slowly flows out. It's surprisingly satisfying to watch. Whether it's sesame oil or peanut oil, the same simple process works for both. First, workers roast the seeds to break down their structure and remove moisture, which also makes the oil look brighter and more appetizing. Then they crush the roasted seeds to help release more oil. The ground seeds are wrapped tightly in cloth and bamboo strips to form firm oil cakes. This keeps everything in place during pressing and filters out impurities at the same time. Once the oil cakes are neatly arranged, even pressure is applied to squeeze out every drop. The result is pure aromatic oil, fresh, natural, and free of additives.
Have you ever seen one of these things? It looks like an alien creature, flat as a shoe sole. They call it a mantis shrimp. Its meat is incredibly thick and sweet, and it costs way more than lobster. We humans are really something. No matter how strange a creature looks, we will find a way to cook it and eat it. Chinese people steam it, prepare it with garlic and chili salt, all focused on capturing that fresh, pure taste. Americans just roll up with butter, cheese, and tacos, going all out on calories and strong flavor. One approach respects the original essence, the other cranks up the intensity. The result? Everything gets eaten completely clean. Different cultures, same appetite. You say it is ugly? When something tastes that good, nobody is worried about looks.
This is why Vietnamese terrazzo floors can last for a century. The process starts in a way that looks unusual. Workers scatter stones directly onto unfinished concrete until the surface is evenly covered. Next, they pour epoxy mortar over the stones, filling every gap, and roll it down again and again to press everything tight. At this stage, the floor still looks bumpy and uneven, with stones sticking out everywhere. Finally, angle grinders are used to polish the surface over and over until it slowly transforms into something smooth, shiny, and beautiful. Have you ever seen this kind of flooring method in your area?
Something 99% of Americans have eaten, but almost no one knows what it actually is. It looks like a sweet potato, kind of like a potato, so most people assume it's some kind of root vegetable. But in reality, it's called jicama, known in China as liangshu. On the outside, it's light brown, round and chunky, basically like a potato that isn't fully grown. But once you peel it, the inside is milky white and shiny. It's so full of water that when you press it, juice literally comes out. The texture is super fine. Take a bite, and it's crisp and sweet. Sweet like an apple, refreshing like a pear. Not starchy, not dry, totally different from any root you've ever had. Most people who try jicama for the first time freeze for a second. It looks like a root, but tastes like a fruit. You can even eat it raw like a snack, but that's not the coolest part. In China, jicama has a legendary transformation, jicama jelly, sold as street food. Workers wash fresh jicama, cut it into pieces, grind it, then squeeze out the milky juice. That juice goes into a pot, heated and stirred. Slowly, it changes from liquid to thick and sticky, and once it cools, this is the luckiest man in the world. He painstakingly grew cabbages for a year, but due to poor market conditions, he couldn't sell them. His family was on the verge of collapse. In desperation, he fed the entire cabbage patch to his chickens. To his surprise, the chickens, which had previously been dull-feathered and thin, became glossy and energetic after a few days. They laid more and more eggs, the yolks of which were as bright as gold, and the taste was incredibly rich and delicate. The neighbors who tasted them were amazed by the natural sweetness. They flocked to buy them, even paying 3 times the price of regular eggs, and the demand still exceeded the supply. It turns out that cabbage is rich in vitamin A, carotene, and natural sugars, which not only enhance the chicken's immunity, but also it aids in the chicken's digestion and absorption. Even more remarkably, chickens raised on cabbage are almost immune to common intestinal diseases, and the chicken coop smells much milder. So he began to seriously study the cabbage chicken raising method. He chopped the cabbage into small pieces, dried it, and stored it. In winter, he mixed it into the chicken feed.
People have eaten these charcoal leaves for over 2,000 years, but not for the reason you'd think. Because they start out as lotus leaves, but they'll be altered completely after this ancient process. As after washing them clean, they tie them at the stems and hang them to dry slowly under the sun until every bit of moisture disappears. And this means they're ready to be transformed, as they're then stacked inside a huge cast iron pot, which is sealed with clay to prevent as little airflow as possible. And to make sure it heats perfectly, they place white paper along the sides as a timer. And while the leaves heat without oxygen, instead of burning, they actually carbonize. As once the paper starts to turn yellow, the pod is then cooled and opened, revealing these carbon-rich leaves which are used as medicine to absorb toxins from the body.
Why is Chinese breakfast shocking the world? This tiny shop that sells 3,000 breakfasts a day will tell you why. Every morning at 3 a.m., the owner starts preparing. No dough, no oil, no frying pans, but a giant iron pot filled with river stones. These stones are washed, sun-dried, and roasted over and over until they're clean enough to literally put in your mouth. When the pot gets so hot it starts smoking, that's when the real show begins. Scoop by scoop, the owner pours the batter right onto the blazing hot stones. The moment it hits, the whole alley instantly explodes with aroma. The high heat locks in moisture. The stones heat evenly, so the pancake turns crispy on the outside, soft and fluffy on the inside, with a smoky aroma you'll never get from a normal pan. When it's done, the owner shakes off the stones, revealing a golden round stone pancake. So hot you have to gasp, so fragrant you can't walk away. Sprinkle some scallions and chili on top. Take a bite. Crispy, soft, fragrant, addictive. Even a Japanese food show said, this is the kind of flavor that makes your tongue question reality. This shop sells 3,000 a day.
No one believes this cunning genius that his clothes can last a long time and won't be ruined after a couple of washes. The thing is, this guy is the most unusual clothing artist because he doesn't paint on clothes with paints, but with bleach, which burns all the color out of the fabric and turns a black shirt into a red one. This guy applies bleach to the shirt layer by layer to create a beautiful pattern, but people consider his work useless because, in their opinion, the shirt will fall apart in a month. Support the guy with a like and a subscription.
This is the smartest man in the world. This year, the sweet potato harvest was huge, but the market totally crashed. No one wanted to buy them. The whole village was counting on that money. But now, with piles of sweet potatoes rotting away, everyone was on the verge of breaking down. Then this guy came up with a wild idea. Turn the sweet potatoes into juice. He peeled them, washed them clean, and tossed them into a grinder to make a smooth puree. Then he poured the mix into a cloth bag and filtered it, leaving behind pure, soft sweet potato starch. The starch settled at the bottom, and after washing and drying it again and again, it turned snow white and silky smooth. Next, he mixed the starch with water, poured it into a funnel-shaped mold, and squeezed it out through tiny holes into boiling water. Instantly, it turned into shiny, crystal-clear noodles. He scooped them out once cooked, laid them on bamboo racks to dry, and under the sun, those noodles sparkled like silver threads. When he finally boiled them again and mixed them with sauce, the noodles were so chewy, bouncy, and smooth, with that light, natural sweetness of sweet potato. The villagers all followed his lead.